Cynthia Williams.
Yes.
I'm so glad you could come out this afternoon.
Thank you, Mr. Kirby.
How long have we known each other?
Someone asked me that the other day. I want to say if it's not 20 years, it's pretty close to it. Because I left Resurgence in 2013. And that's been 13 years ago. And I knew you at least 3 or 4 years, maybe before that. What's your estimation?
So we started our networking in 2008
Okay.
at the Four Seasons Hotel.
And that's where I first came.
Okay. So I can't do that kind of math in my head.
Okay.
You want to use your calculator?
No.
So ever
That's
since
18 years.
That's 18 years?
2006 to, you said 2008. 2008 to 26, 18.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So that's how long we've known each other. And for that whole time that I've known you, you have been a master of words.
Thank you.
I just wanted to share with our readers your expertise with words, your love of words, and how you make the perfect sentence with the word choices you make. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I am Cynthia Williams, the older of 2 children born to Robert Broughton and Edna Williams Broughton Gross. There's another marriage in there somewhere. My mother had 2 children. She never had any more children once they got divorced. So my dad was a preacher when I became 9, and my brother became a preacher when I was, I guess, just out of college. So I was maybe 23, 24. So both of my dad and my brother were both preachers. My dad did not get a full education because he was in the rural. He moved the family to Atlanta in 59, I want to say, because he didn't see opportunities for his family in Rutledge and Madison, so he moved the family to Atlanta. I grew up in Atlanta. My cousin, half the family grew up in the country, half in Atlanta. Okay, that shaped a lot for me because every summer we would go to the country to stay with our maternal grandparents, and it was different than being city kids. And my brother had a lot of health challenges. I know this is one of your questions. That's why I wanted a paper and pen. My brother had a lot of health challenges, and there were often times that I was left alone because my dad had to take my brother to the hospital. And that's where it started.
Okay, so what is the fascination with words? Why do you look for the perfect word?
The words we choose speak volumes about how we communicate. It speaks volumes about our intellect, our exposure, and growing up in Atlanta in the 70s, there were opportunities for blacks, but there were still not the opportunities that our white counterparts had. And I was fortunate enough to be chosen for different programs, if you will. And those programs gave me a sneak peek into their world, the other world, and they didn't split verbs. And I had, my dad was from the country. My dad didn't speak completely proper English. So, and my family didn't speak completely proper English. So part of the code switching thing was having those conversations with the white kids and then going home and having the conversations we had at home. Because in some of these programs, if I wasn't the only black in the program, there were probably 2 of us, maybe 3, So those opportunities made words important. And I've always been an avid reader. That goes back to my brother being sick. And because I've always been a reader, words jump off at the page at me.
So what kind of things did you read?
My record. One summer I read 40 Harlequin romances. I mean, they were all the same, but just the location and the names changed. But the basic, boy meets girl, girl loses boy, they get back together, live happily ever after. So one summer I read 40 Harlequin romances. And I read serial books, and then my children developed a love of reading, so I always bought them serial books. So they read the series of unfortunate events. They read the whole Harry Potter series. My son read, and I'm segueing. The last book in the Harry Potter series is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. It's a 2-book set with so big. So we pre-ordered it at our local bookstore, Books A Million down by us. And my son, we picked up the second volume. My son picked it up on Friday. He was done with it. Maybe we got it on Saturday. We got it on Saturday. He was done on Monday. His cousin, who was an avid reader, he read it in one day. So my son was ticked that his cousin beat him, reading it. So we've always read like that. My kids read like that. My daughter read the Ramona books. Spencer read. We've always been readers. So for me.
So it was a competition.
No, I don't want to say a competition. We just like to read on Saturdays.
Wait, back up. You just said your son.
My son.
Got upset
because his cousin beat him.
So it was a competition.
No, but an unspoken competition. They both just love the Harry Potter series. So, like recently we're like now we're watching Bridgerton, and it's like a 6 or 7 book set, and we haven't read the books. My daughter said, "Mom, you gotta get the books for us because we haven't read the books." And one of my girlfriends has, but now they're so expensive because it's so popular now. But the whole Bridgerton TV series is based on books by Julia Quinn. So, and there are subtleties and some really different things in the books, of course, that aren't in the movies. So we like to read though. And now, I'm one of those because the way my brain works, I might have like 3 books going at one time. Like I've got a self-help book, and then I've got, a lusty romance book, and then I've got other resources that I use.
Are we talking about now?
This is now.
Okay, so the Cynthia Williams that I know, she doesn't have extra time.
That's why she has 3 books going at one time because she hadn't finished one.
Okay, so where do you find the time to fit these books in if you're an insurance expert by day, you're a confectionery connoisseur by night, so there's only day and night. Where do you have time for the books?
I'll sometimes sneak time to read, like before I go to bed, or sometimes after I've gotten up, I can find half an hour to read. And then sometimes that half an hour might push into 45 minutes. Sometimes. It's not a good thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the love of reading.
Yeah.
One, and then the love of words as a part of the reading.
Yeah, I'd say that. So I'm not sure how we are in order of the questions that you sent me, but my brother had these health challenges, right? And our dad raised us. Our mom was out the picture. So there were a lot of times when my brother would have an episode or something, and Dad had to take him to the hospital. Sometimes they both came back. Sometimes just my dad came back. So I learned early how to be my own best company. And that meant some days reading the encyclopedia, but more it meant reading the dictionary. I read the dictionary. And etymology is the study of words and word origins. So I'm telling you, it's really sad.
Did you ever compete in any spelling bees?
Yeah, I did that like through middle school.
How'd you fare?
I did okay. I like one for my class, one for my grade. Did not win for my school. I missed the word because I wasn't concentrating. So I didn't get to go to district. But I did 4-H club. And I did Toastmasters. I did all these different things that gave me public speaking opportunities. And the reading and word etymology and a well-placed words changes the whole direction of a sentence. Completely. And I look for that word to give the sentence impact or to communicate what I want to say.
So when you're having conversations with your friends, do you look for those types of words, or is it just a special occasion when you're saying something special?
It depends on the friend group.
Okay.
For example, when my kids would go to certain cousins' house, my kids would get why y'all talk white? And my kids go, we don't talk white. We just use proper English and grammar. We We don't get, my kids never got to say where you at. No, it's where are you?
And their
Follow
friends
me.
were saying Ebonics
Exactly.
or worse.
And see, I can't take that now with my children. They go, I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, and I'll correct them now if they do that. That bothers me to high heaven because people, particularly people of other hues, they judge us based on how we speak, how we present ourselves. Oh, like I've been in insurance a long time, and I've met people. I've talked to them on the phone, go to an event and meet them in person, and the look on their face and they realize, oh, she's black. Hi, how are you? So good to finally meet you. And you can see it wash over their face because I don't talk black. It used to really bother me, that thing, but now I laugh.
I think you're absolutely right when it comes to speaking the Queen's English and being thought of as a different race. Because I've run into that myself a few times, where people would say, I thought you were from someplace else.
Someplace else, like where?
That was never clear on where they thought I was from.
Right.
But
somewhere not black.
I guess so. But generally speaking, I don't use slang. I don't use profanity unless I need it for emphasis. And that's one of those chosen words that I might pick up.
Yes.
But it's a rare occasion that I speak profanity or slang. But a lot of people that I ran into in those earlier years thought that I was someone different. My high school English teacher said to me, "You write very descriptively."
Okay.
I didn't know what that meant then, but through my journey with the Truth Seekers Journal,
You see it.
I'm beginning to see it and
Right.
understand what she meant. And in some ways, I wish she had told me, "Look, you need to become a writer."
Could have saved your whole career, couldn't it?
Could have.
Could have saved your whole career.
Instead of chasing numbers for 20 years,
Yeah.
then chasing drivers for another 20 years.
But now you're chasing this, and it's the fulfillment and the joy you get out of it is different. Not that you weren't pleased with the other stuff. It's just it's a different kind of happiness, I guess.
For sure it is. And I had a conversation earlier today, and it was about memory. I don't remember everything, and I write a lot about things that I want to know about. I thought I knew. Some I didn't know.
Right.
But now I have written about them, and what I found is that my publication is now a repository of all of those things that I don't have to remember anymore.
Right. I just pull up and read it again.
Just pull up and read it again. And in many ways, it's like the first time reading it again, because there's so much I pick up the second time that I read it
Right.
that I did not resonate with, or it didn't resonate with me. So
Pretty cool.
now talk about how your parents saw you as a kid, and did they see this fascination with words?
Because my brother had the health issues, and my dad he was a day laborer, worked by the hour, paid by the hour kind of guy. If he didn't work, he didn't get paid. And if he had to not be at work, it was oftentimes because of my brother. And so I said, he has enough on him worrying about my brother, he can't worry about me acting stupid. So I was a smart kid. I was a smart one. I was the one that, again, got selected for different programs. I remember one time being at school and somebody said, "Hey, Cynthia, your dad was here." Like, my dad was here? You saw my dad? Because a lot of people knew him. Yeah, he was here earlier, in the principal's office. My dad in the principal's office? What did I do? So when I get home, my friend said, "It's like your school today, Dad." Yeah, they called me, they want to put you in some programs, they just want to talk to me about it. Oh, okay. And my dad, though he didn't, when he came to the city, he went to Washington High for a season to finish trying to get his diploma. I don't even know if he ever did. But my dad read to the best of his ability. So we got magazines. So we used to get Newsweek. By the time I was in high school, this is about high school. We got Newsweek, U.S. News and World Report, and Sports Illustrated. Like we all got to choose one, you know, or however. So there was a season in high school. I got Newsweek every week. We didn't get Time. We got U.S. News and World Report and Sports Illustrated. So me and my brother, my brother knew all the sports stuff. I knew all the news stuff, you know. So that might, tweak my.
Were you a geek?
That's such a not nice word to use. I don't want to say I was a geek.
Who reads U.S. World Reports?
That was the magazine my daddy got for us. We got Newsweek.
I thought you got to choose one.
I chose one of those, like Newsweek, probably. Because think about it, Newsweek in the 70s, it was hot. It was all that and a bag of chips. So I read, we got like on whatever day the new one came in the mail, and I read it in the next 2 days.
What about Jet?
We didn't get that.
Ebony.
We didn't get that. We didn't get Essence. My dad didn't know about Essence, of course. And my dad was a homophobe. My dad was chauvinist, preacher and white shirt, black suit. He was straight no chaser. So if it was for a girl, I had girl toys. My brother had boy toys. Neither the twain shall meet. Okay, my dad was that dude. So yeah, we read magazines. And then I had a library card early.
Have you ever been surprised by how you connected with someone simply by the words that you chose?
I don't know much, maybe so much surprised by something, but
it was intentional.
No, but people have said that's a good word.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. I mean, and sometimes the conversation will just flow, and the word will just come natural for me. You know what I mean? It may not come so natural for somebody else, but because I read, and sometimes it bothers me when I'm looking for a word, and the word is back there somewhere, but it's not coming to me as readily as I like. That's how I know I'm getting older. The words don't come as quickly as they used to.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They don't. The word that I'm looking for, it's up there, and it's not coming like I want it to. So I'll my brain will give me something else real quick, and I'll say the sentence, and then 30 seconds later, the right word I wanted to use will come up, and I change the sentence. Oh, what I meant earlier was this word. I did that more with my kids and other people, and my kids are like, we knew what you meant. We knew what you meant.
I'm sure that's an interesting conversation around the house.
We read, and I read blogs now. My children read blogs. My son's been doing movie reviews. That's his latest thing. He was doing for a while, and we just like to read.
So he goes out and watches movies and writes a.
Yes, he does a blog, like he does an online TikTok kind of thing, review of it.
Does he have a pretty strong following?
He was doing okay, but right now he's giving his 90-day first of the year thing was giving social media a break, so he hasn't been doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll send you some of his stuff. There's some choice words in it now. It's not all it's adult.
It's adult.
Yeah. There's cursing in it.
Okay. So if he's a wordsmith, kind of like you,
mm-hmm.
why does he need the cursing, or is that
again,
for effect?
It's like for effect. I think for effect. For effect. I think for effect.
Okay.
But you have to have that conversation with him to know for sure. And I've said in the past, take some of the cursing out.
Okay.
And he will, because me and this edit that I'm going to make a comment if you don't use that word.
I don't know that I've ever heard you use any profanity.
Yeah, you have. Oh, trust me, you have.
I have?
Oh, yeah. He probably just let it gloss over, but yeah. 18 years and know, oh, I'm pretty sure you have. pretty sure.
So I did prepare a list of questions to ask you,
Okay.
but sometimes the questions don't kind of flow with the conversation.
Okay.
So one here that I wanted to make sure I cover with you is, do you see yourself as a curator, a guide, or something else entirely?
Not a curator, not a guide. I sort of fancy myself as resourceful.
Mm-hmm.
I think one how I'd like to be remembered as being resourceful and helpful.
Mm-hmm.
I just like words, and if I mean, you know, I'll share if I get. You can tell how the algorithm sends me stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I get these lists of different kinds of words, and I just find them fascinating. You know, they're fascinating to me. Like everybody, like my friends, like really, Cent? Really?
So speaking of lists, now I've seen these lists recently.
Yeah.
Of 100 words. Does that come from you, or
It comes from Facebook. The algorithm sends them to me on Facebook. They just end up in my feed on Facebook. These different lists of, you know, reduplicative kind of things, and these, you know, 50 antonyms you should know, or 100 synonyms you should know, and a lot of these words, I think, like one of them I sent last week, people said, like, I've used this, didn't quite know what it meant, or didn't quite know the real usage of it. But I think that's fun. For me, that's fun.
Do you have any idea how Facebook knows that you're a wordsmith?
No.
Or would you describe yourself as a wordsmith?
Milton Kirby calls me a wordsmith. I don't call myself a wordsmith. I rather call myself a person who reads, and I have a pretty good vocabulary to draw from. You know, and if there's a word that I'm not quite certain of the spelling or the meaning, I type in a text, it doesn't look quite right. I will look it up because I hate sending out wrong stuff. That's a pet peeve for me. So, and everybody doesn't have Apple, so I can't take it back and edit it and fix it. So you can't do that with a Google person as easily as an Apple contact. So I look the word up. Okay, this is how you spell it. Okay. And then I go back and I finish it. I want to use that word. I want to make sure that I had it spelled properly, and that word does mean what I thought it meant.
So with the advent of AI, are you using any of those tools to?
I never have, because I don't know how to do that. I mean, I think I did Chat GPT when I was with my cousin trying to come up with a business name, and Chris and I did that, trying to come up with a business name for her balloon company, you know. But I don't use AI. The most I'm just gonna go to Google or my little search engine on my phone, type in, and whatever comes up is what comes up.
Mm-hmm.
It may say AI has additional stuff. You know, it's recently, like, I do Bible study on Wednesday at 8. And this past week, was it this week or last week? Last week's Bible study was from 2 Kings, 8th chapter. And it was one of those tucked away stories in the Bible. And I know this past week. And so I pulled it up. I know the scripture, so I read it, and then I pulled it up, just Google on my computer, my laptop, and then it said AI additional stuff. So I clicked on that to do a little bit of a deeper dive, because I knew the basic story. You know, this gave me just a little bit more information. So I don't use AI for how to write something. I use it just for additional information, because I like I said, I really knew the story. And when I got done with Bible study, I said, how many of y'all remember this story?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and one lady, she said, I've never heard that story.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Because there are a lot of stories in the Bible. There are a lot of stories in the Bible that people have not heard. It was just so cool, I thought.
Well, for those of us who don't frequent church anymore, but we grew up in church, for those formative years, and then we,
yeah,
I think that the old folks say, you start smelling yourself, you stop going to church.
Straight away. Straight away.
So, but you're right. There were a lot of stories in
Yeah.
the Sunday school,
Yes. Vacation Bible School.
and in the sermons.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
I grew up in a Baptist church, and when the pastor would take his text from the Bible, he'd read 4 or 5 scriptures, and then that's where he would deliver a sermon from.
Mm-hmm.
So those 4 or 5 lines had lots of meaning,
Right.
and he'd expound upon that, and he'd expound upon that, and then the Baptist preachers sometimes.
But see, the thing is, you can't stop in the middle of a sermon and say, Reverend, can you explain that? But that's why you go to Sunday school. And that's why you go to youth mission. And that's why you go to vacation Bible school, because you can't stop and say, wait a minute, I don't understand. Can you break that down? They did what? You know.
I wonder why we can't stop preachers.
Don't do that. They will escort you out. They will escort you out. And again, remember now, so I grew up in a house with a preacher, and then by the time I was 20 something, my brother was a preacher. So,
So where did you go to college?
I attended Maryville College in Maryville, Tennessee. I, again, was a part of the Atlanta public school system, Murphy High School. And I graduated 3rd in my class.
3rd in your class? In college or high school?
In high school.
Okay.
3rd. And I got a broken heart when I was 16, and it affected my grades, and my average slipped. I really should have been... I was smarter than our valedictorian, but my average didn't say that. So much so that at graduation, I spoke first. Typically, the valedictorian speaks, the salutatorian speaks, and you have everything else. But at our graduation, the 3rd person in class, I spoke first, then salutatorian, and the valedictorian spoke last, which was out of order. But I was the best speaker of the 3.
Well, I wouldn't have wanted to come behind you.
Oh well. Oopsie.
So, did you keep in touch with the valedictorian? Was that a friend of yours?
Yeah, we're all Facebook friends. We seen each other like at our class get-togethers and stuff. She's a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
Now the salutatorian is an accountant. The salutatorian went to Clark AU. Valedictorian went to Georgia State.
Mm-hmm.
Never left home. One of those.
Okay.
Never left home. Like, had a baby. I'm not part of the marriage. Went to college. Had a baby. Moved back home. Lived at home with her mama until her mama died, and then she lived in the house.
Wow.
And
When you go, you grow.
Right. And, I tell anybody, if you can go away to college, do so. Chris and I were coming through downtown the other night, and traffic was bad, so we ended up going down Piedmont. And we were okay on time? We got 10 minutes. We went down Piedmont and passed by all the Georgia State. So she said, that's the Georgia State dorm. And I said, would you have wanted to go to Georgia State? And she's like, no. It was too close to home. I said, you wouldn't have to be at home. She said, yeah, Mama, but we know so many people. You would have been too close of a phone call away. Because both of mine went to Georgia Southern. And they both transferred back. Chris into Art Institute, Spencer to Georgia State. And then she finished and he didn't.
So, we're coming to the end of our time.
Okay.